A 2-hour long fucking tirade. 2 hours. 2 fucking hours! Hey, we're not actually gonna try and actually do this. We're not gonna cover this, right? Right?
Gwa, I wanted to reach out to you privately. You purposely sent your followers after my girlfriend, and then sent them after me when I tried to protect her. We're both 13. Why did you do this?
Your girlfriend took my art and edited it. Do you not expect me to respond?
She felt hurt by the message and wanted to make it more positive, Gwa. I understand not wanting people to edit something you took time on, but she was just trying to spread a positive message. You tweeting about it made us both terrified. I'm trans and autistic. There's nothing bad about these things. The way you portrayed trans people in your comic was super offensive.
It was a joke.
Because yes, portraying people, specifically minorities, in a bad light as a joke is perfectly fine. Joke or not, you still portray them as bad.
You called being trans and autistic weird. How the fuck is that not transphobic? People experience autism differently, stupid.
Being weird does not mean it's automatically bad.
The definition of weird, very strange and unusual, unexpected or unnatural. Calling someone unnatural is kind of fucking shitty. Huh? Being autistic and trans is not unnatural. Also, there is no way you've never seen the word weird used as an insult.
Weren't you a bit too harsh on that child?
Nah, I worked as a caretaker for the autistic for 3 years. They often don't grasp a lot of concepts very well, so it's best to be as blunt as possible to prevent confusion. It may sound mean to a non-autistic person, but that's the most effective way to communicate with autists.
Hello everyone, actual autistic person here, and guess what? That's bullshit! You don't need to be a blunt asshole to get your message across so we can understand it just fine. The best way to explain something is slow and calmly, not harsh like that. And working with autistic people for 3 years doesn't mean jack shit if you don't have a medical degree to back your shit up.
Trans and autistic people actually exist. Non-binary and using other pronouns exist as well. And for the spelling thing, some autistic people have typing quirks since it's easier for them to communicate.
Wow, using a negative racist stereotype to represent a black person! A real black person! What the fuck? Also, the big lips and the accent, you aren't even being fucking subtle about this. You're an asshole.
This artist is educating me while living in the fantasy world.
Grandpa. Hey, Pops. It's been so long.
Do I know you? You sound familiar.
Grandpa, I need to tell you something.
Wait, are you?
Yes, but my name is Tammy now, and I'm a woman. I wanted to share that with you because I love you, Pops.
Oh, it takes such courage to say that. I love you too.
How the fuck is writing a heartwarming story living in a fucking fantasy world? Technically, that could be attributed to any writer, including you!
Yo, check what I made, bro. This is great, lol. Thanks, Hedgewood.
Are you seriously trying to portray yourself as sympathetic when you like shit like this? When you show shit like this and say, yep, that's fine, nothing wrong here? And before some asshat goes, well, he can't prove it's racist, so ha ha ha. No, they're based on old art depictions of black people with big red lips. These were used to mock them severely. So yeah, this is really bad.
Wait, Papi-chan does what? This sounds very familiar. Papi-chan is such a stunning and brave role model for kids. She uses the suicide tactic to seek validation from her 40k underage followers. Like, I wouldn't kill myself if you all keep beating me with attention. Woo-woo. Get help, girl. Not online. I bring this up also because I had first-hand experience with the same suicide situation when my older sister used the tactic on me when I was 10. She brainwashed me to believe I'm responsible for her life because I'm the reason she didn't kill herself.
Oh, and you can prove that she's faking this for attention on the basis of fucking nothing. Oh, because your sister did it. Oh, and there's still no fucking proof. And this especially makes no fucking sense when you're not a medical expert or a therapist on any of this shit, so you actually don't know anything about this stuff. Oh, but your sister did the same thing, and that proves that this person is doing it too, on the basis of fucking what?
I just want to let you know, I really like your comics. I know there's a lot of trans trenders out there, and as a trans woman myself, I don't think these groups exactly represent me.
Oh wow, you're one of the very few trans followers I have, lol. I'm glad you don't accept the PC trans activism. I see there's a lot of media brainwashing to confuse people who are not actually trans, so these people get permanent damage after a surgery or hormone injections. Also, I don't agree with the theory that anyone can transition from as early early as 7 years old. Kids are dumb, so they shouldn't be allowed to transition before age 18.
So basically, some people just know when they're younger, and transitioning young really helps prevent male puberty from ruining your feminine traits. But with how rare it is for people to legitimately be trans and realize it at such a young age, I side with not transitioning your kids unless you can definitely tell and there's enough of a pattern over the years. I wanted to start at 18 because I was able to earn myself enough money on my own instead of leeching off others. I realized I was trans at 16, and I'd prefer that I had started back then. But for other people, they don't know for sure. Some trans girls knew at 13 and are now like 25, but lost out on hormones because of reasons. But I think that's a loss that's acceptable. Sad, yes, but acceptable to the alternative of enabling tons of trans phase kids from fucking up their bodies. A kid says they want to be a space marine. You don't give them a gun and send them to fight. A kid says they want to be Tomb Raider. You don't send them into the archaeological deserts or whatever. The main issue that enables this problem is transitioning at a young age is super helpful for actual trans people, but a super bad thing for people who aren't actually trans and just think it's the new way to get attention.
Okay, here's Antoons and Antoons' supposedly trans friend fighting an argument that doesn't exist. No one thinks kids should get transgender surgery. What we do advocate for is kids getting puberty blockers so they won't, develop into traits that aren't with their gender in mind. Also, the whole saying that some people aren't trans and they're faking it to be popular and shit is dumb because you can't prove that. Unless you get a confession out of someone on that, you can't really tell because no one's a fucking mind reader.
Just to be sure, you're anti-woke, right? So, you don't want to censor anything?
Oh yeah, 100%. If you don't like it, why listen? If it's not your comedy or comfort, don't put yourself in that position to listen to it. Don't tear it down or cancel it because you dislike the content you didn't even listen to or experiment with in the first place.
Yeah, but there's a difference between, I just don't like this type of comedy, and hate speech portraying minorities in a bad and negative light that's very hateful. And Antoons' content falls into this category again and again. Also, just because you have one trans person saying that's okay with a billion others telling you, hey, maybe don't do that, that doesn't mean it's so fucking okay. Comics that are used to make minorities look bad are still bad, no matter if one minority out of the bunch tells you, that's fine, I don't see a problem here.
Cool, thanks for sharing your thoughts.
Anytime, dude. It's just nice to get this, extra view out, to show people that we're not how the media portrays us and that we're not all, the insane types you see online that go after everybody for saying a dark joke.
Oh, I know what you mean. People like Jessica Yaniv and that it's ma'am person don't help the trans community in any way.
And as we know, Antoons is very supportive of the trans community. I mean, he didn't make a comment insinuating that trans rights will lead to pedo rights. Oh wait, fuck, he did, and it was awful.
Dude, I made it, LMAO. Deviant Crow made a video on me. Antoons too. Apparently, I'm an Antoons clone now, lol.
Deviant Crow? Is it that trans person who makes weekly videos on me?
How can we actually prove that Antoons is a racist? Well, it's simple. The attacks on Puppy Chan.
Welcome to the club.
Oh wow, not even showing why I had to make those videos, the context of the video in question, and all that other shit. Basically, he's trying to portray me as obsessive and not as someone criticizing him harshly for being a massive asshole. Reminder, I made all those videos weekly because he was fucking being a dickhead weekly.
Let's post those sprites from my game. Mr. Freak's moves in Pill Fighter. His combo includes the gender reassignment surgical procedure as seen in the comics.
Your animations are so lively and fun. Even the idle standing animation has so much personality. Your animations are awesome.
Bruh, stop!
What? His animation is good, bro.
This ain't it.
Just let me appreciate good animation, fam.
You're supporting someone who's a Nazi, fam. I'm not letting you appreciate that.
I can separate content from the artist. The animations are appealing to the eyes. Chill out.
Actually, I like the animations too.
That's right, you gotta separate the art from the artist. The artist definitely does not have anything hateful in the art pieces. In those past videos that I've made on Antoons, you should definitely not watch them to get my point even further.
To all of my followers, I am gravely sorry. I shouldn't have phrased this the way I did. I'm sorry if I came off as supportive of Antoon's actions in any way. I'm sorry if you don't forgive me. I wouldn't either. I'm sorry to everyone.
Damn, poor kid. They are forcing him to apologize for liking my work. This dude lost a lot of friends and followers because he dared to like my animation. I think he needs better friends, so let's help him out.
No one forced the person in question to make an apology. They chose to. They could have easily just not have done it.
Jealousy is not healthy, sweetheart. Keep seething though, it's adorable. Oh, and since I'm here, I might as well share my video that she ignored.
I understand, actually, but that image where there is called map rights are actually disgusting. I'm not insulting or anything like that, but did you complain of that? I don't like pedos as much as other criminals, whatever, but do you accept them? I'm just wondering. Not like I like his comics, it's racist to me too, but I'm just asking.
Looks like my assumptions were true. Izzy has a problem with my comics that mock pedos. She claims she's asexual, most likely to hide her real attraction. If she claims that my game and comics make me a predator, then by looking at her art, it's safe to say she's a map. Not to mention she looks like a drag queen. Drag queens are usually found to be pedophiles, so by using Izzy's logic, it makes sense to call her a map based on the things I've seen.
Holy shit, is that a bunch of fucking reaching? Maybe that first comment might hint at something, but not really. I think what she's trying to make clear is that people should help pedophiles get therapy, because, you know, pedophilia is a mental disorder. It's been proven on that. But trying to claim someone's a pedophile on the basis that they're asexual and they dress weird is fucking dumb.
Also, do you want to maybe address the whole map thing? Because you keep dodging me when I ask.
So now that you got caught lying, do you mind telling me what your thoughts are on this? I know you're Puppy-chan's simp, so you'll be 100% biased, but I still am curious how you will defend it and how evil I am.
Tell me why you think I'm a map.
My sources told me you defend LGBTQ+, which includes map rights. You support the movement from what I was told, and that comment on YouTube was also evident that you find any anti-map content wrong. Asexuals are highly likely to defend all kinds of sexual interests based on data, such as bestiality and necrophilia, because they do not feel sexual attraction like normal people do. I don't know you in real life obviously, but from your online activity, that's what I was told.
Who are your sources? LGBTQ rights do not include maps. Can we stop calling them that as well? Because they're called pedophiles. That commenter misunderstood what I said. I said your comics were non-offensive, and at that time one of your comments showing somebody holding up a map rights banner showed up. I guess they weren't intelligent enough to pick up on the basic context of what I said.
Can't say who the sources are, but based on statistics, 40% of pedophiles are in the LGBT community, so it's normal to put them all together.
Okay, first of all, he doesn't back up where he got that statistic, but let's say that is true, that 40% of people in the LGBT community are pedophiles. That still doesn't mean by being an LGBTQ supporter, you support pedophiles, because LGBTQ+ does not include pedophilia. It has been told again and again that this is not the fucking case. Also, just because I support someone's right to be who they are, whether through, you know, sexuality or gender and all this stuff, does not mean I side with them on stuff like pedophilia. That's fucking dumb. And yet here you are saying you're not hateful to these types of communities, and yet here you are trying to say that that community is a bunch of pedophile supporters.
I made an appearance based. So many people don't seem to understand that the point of animation is to animate something. It isn't about original designs, it's about bringing things to life.
Yeah, but the whole reason why tracing people's work is bad is because you're taking other people's work and you're profiting off of it. It's not only lazy, but extremely fucking shitty.
I think they deleted their comment or blocked me, LeMayo, but I can still see it in my notifications. I'm a gay dude with a mixed boyfriend, and Antoons has been nothing but kind to me and my LGBT friends.
I wonder if it's possible that Antoons only has minority friends, so he can go, oh, well, I'm not, this or that, I have these friends. Ignoring the fact that he essentially said your group is the slippery slope to pedophilia is dumb. I don't care if you are a part of the LGBTQ community, I am too, and guess what? What you're doing is fucking dumb.
I feel like the people who say otherwise are just caught up in an overly woke Americanized culture. Ironically, they're pretty racist for trying to force their cultural standards and beliefs onto everyone around the world.
Since when the fuck is tracing, not being an asshole, not being racist, not being transphobic, not being bigoted at all, a cultural standard? This point is so fucking stupid. It is not racist or culturally insensitive to tell someone to not be a bad person.
The mental gymnastics you're willing to do to defend him is astonishing. A yes on person's experience completely justifies Antoons' comic. You do realize that's like saying you can be racist if you have a black friend, right?
I'm just not a privileged American, and I face real problems in the real world instead. You people are just bored and needing to get mad at things on the internet so you have something to do with your time.
Ah, yes, the classic I've gone through much worse troubles, so no one else has the right to bitch about anything. Sorry, you can't have criticism because bananas. Also, trying to deflame someone's criticisms by saying, hey, that your intentions are bad is stupid because it could still be fucking right.
This is getting kinda more insane. These detractors smear you first and ask questions later.
Guess who returned to join the council mob?
My ex?
Check this Twitter thread.
Also, reminder that I'm still traumatized from Antoons claiming I was a map to his enormous audience. Proof that he lied and made up those allegations to make himself look better down below. It first started with a YouTube comment he left on my video. It was a reply to someone else, which then progressed into him straight up calling me a map, as if it were a solid fact on his Twitter. Now, at this point I'm thinking, what the fuck, because A, it's flat out a lie, and B, it's not backed up by any form of evidence. So, he contacts me in DMs to talk about my video, and I won't discuss it with him until he explains his abhorrent claims. So, in summary, Antoons is a huge liar. I was willing to hear him out and hear his side, but after he made fucking false pedophilia accusations against me with zero evidence and then take it back, he doesn't really seem like a very trustworthy guy to me, to be honest. So yeah, he took petty internet drama and criticism, and instead of actually arguing his own case, made up false allegations about me that literally traumatized me.
Oh, you poor thing. Stay strong, queen.
Yeah, when you yourself make false accusations about someone, it's okay. But when somebody does the same to you, you're suddenly traumatized? I guess you don't like the taste of your own medicine, so you're acting like a victim now. Why would she do that? She must be hiding something if she brings up this week-old issue that we solved. I think I need to take back what I said about false claims. You do act like a map because you can't stop thinking about it. If you weren't one, you wouldn't be making a thread about it a week after the accusation.
Antoons, none of what you just said proves that she has attraction to minors, you dumb fuck!
Update: Antoons tried to call me out for tracing when I was a teen, but I've talked about this across multiple videos, streams and tweets. He took down someone's video about him and accused someone of being a pedo without proof because they were asexual. Retweets appreciated.
Okay, let's go. Daft Pina finally responds to tracing. Oh, so he mentioned that he did it in one of his videos, where he talks about it for 15 seconds? How does that change anything? I did not know he traced until recently, and based on the comments, many people didn't know either. He may have mentioned it in his streams or tweets, but I only started to follow him on Twitter since August of this year. I don't see how dedicating a video to his past, among other hypocrisies, was wrong. He still doesn't understand what the pros of tracing are. Also, we saw he picks favorite tracers like Meat Canyon to avoid harming their reputation. He only focuses on the lighter problems of his favorite artists, instead of critiquing everyone fairly.
Antoons, please explain to me how doing a bad thing, then going, that's a bad thing, and continuing to say it's a bad thing, and not doing that bad thing again, how the fuck is that hypocritical?
Then he brings up a video that I reported for defamation. I do not approve of lies being spread about me, such as BS like sexualizing a minor, drawing CP, and beating trans and black people. He brings up the map accusations that were solved 10 days ago.
Yes, the defamation you have yet to prove is defamation in this whole video. Meanwhile, yeah, the allegations. Yeah, you went back on it and you were very inconsistent about. Surely someone like you going willy-nilly flip-flopping on pedophilia accusations is definitely not a problem.
And finally he shows I said me, when in fact I say it all the time, when I'm with trans friends or without. It doesn't hurt anyone.
Still a slur used to demean trans people and can have a lot of trauma for some people. So yeah, your friends might be okay with you using it to them, but your friends are not every trans person, so they don't get to speak on the behalf of every trans person.
Okay, so let's move on. What do you say to this? You used the slur.
Yeah, I use it all the time. These people know me, so they don't mind.
I spoke to the person and they didn't say you're friends.
We used to be. She even made fan art for me.
Weird Cat would later debunk this point on Twitter, so good for her, but that's besides the point. Just because they're your friend doesn't mean you could call them a hateful slur either. If they explicitly say they're fine with it, then yeah, go ahead, go do it, but you never made that point clear, or proved that she was fine with you using those types of slurs.
The trans person you referred to never allowed you to use slurs.
Oh, I thought they were fans, based on the fan art they make for me. It's a love-hate relationship we have, I guess. She can't stop thinking about me.
What do you mean with love-hate relationship?
Just a sec, let me show you.
Dude, none of those are positive depictions. It just looks like they're making fun of you. None of these would give me the impression that you were friends.
Never said we were friends. I say there's a love-hate relationship since she hates me and loves me at the same time.
Even if that's the case, they never knew about how you use the word when talking about them.
I guess I misunderstood their position then. Since they made so much fan art for me, I assumed they are my fans. They put time and effort into making gift art for me, so I appreciate that.
You still shouldn't use slurs.
If they had a problem with my slurs, then they could have told me about it.
Hey, Antoons, curious question. Are you actually full of shit, or are you this fucking dumb to think that all that art was fan art for you, and that thus that gives you the right to use transphobic slurs against said person?
Warning, this YouTuber, Just Stop, has just backstabbed me. He spoke with me for 2 weeks on Discord, but secretly waited for the last day before posting this video on me so he could report my Discord account, which was banned. All of his accusations are pure lies and slander, so stay tuned for the full story he tried to hide from you. Lots of receipts saved. Just Stop commented?
31-year-old YouTuber Antoons will make a response to 16-year-old Just Stop with less than 100k. Please don't show me porn again.
Sure, because your age and channel size gives you exemption from criticism. Also, you admitted yourself you had no issues seeing the not suitable for work fan art by the person you interviewed yourself and never warned me not to show it again. So you just reported me because I broke the terms of services a week later, yet you called me a backstabber, LMO. You are a walking parody, kid.
Okay, first of all, sending unsolicited porn to anyone is bad, but doing it to a minor is like really bad. Reporting you for breaking the rules is not backstabbing, it's doing the right thing. You fucked up and now you get to suffer the consequences for it. It's funny how the rules and all that stuff was fine with the defamation shit, yet when it comes to this stuff, oh, suddenly it's bad because I don't want to follow rules now because, oh. Antoons, can you at least be consistent with your lying bullshit?
Thanks for confirming you sent porn to a minor, and if such a simpleton, you have to be told not to do so, while also making a claim I could easily disprove.
What claim can you disprove exactly? I guess now that you will run around with your minor card as a shield, is it safe to call you immature, emotional, and undeveloped like all teenagers are? Oh, and thus making your credibility non-existent if you know nothing about the real world outside your bubble.
Antoons, I know you're not much of a logical person, but surely you've heard of the logical fallacy, an ad hominem, saying that someone's wrong based on who they are. You still have to properly debunk what they said, and you've yet to fucking do that at all.
He also has somewhat of a problem with tracing many of the characters in his animation.
It's not me who's having a problem with tracing in animation, it's you who has it. I'm perfectly comfortable with the way I implement tracing in my work.
Antoons, you stupid fuck, that's not what he meant. And as we explain, tracing is an extremely shitty thing to do.
Creeping on the 17-year-old child after they mentioned something relating to their bits. Puppy-chan brought this up in another response tweet to Antoons, and after that, he took a weird position in the entire drama. He decided to take the position of the victim.
A victim can be of any age. Doesn't matter who is older or younger when it comes to online harassment.
Antoons, you stupid fuck, that's not what he meant. It's so dumb how you're taking a clip that's obviously the starting of a bigger argument and trying to debunk it there. Why?
It's also implied in many of Antoons' tweets about Puppy-chan fans going in his DMs that she's the one that sicked her fans on him, but that really isn't the case. And okay, it wasn't implied, he flat out stated it.
Yes, she did not send them directly, but she kept posting about me and quote retweeting. This obviously would direct the mob at me. In the first instance with a 13-year-old autist, it was a single screen grab, so not a retweet or a name tag. Thus, it's not the same as in Puppy-chan's multiple tweets and mentions about me.
That still in no way makes you responsible for the actions of her fan base. Her fans still, of their own volition, went to you and harassed you, and yeah, that's not okay, but yet something you can't blame on Puppy-chan for, because at the end of the day, she's still not responsible.
He weirdly comes off as kind of desperate for attention by posting all these DMs and incredibly small videos by small YouTubers.
Desperation for attention. Let me double check what I'm responding to right now. Oh wait, it's your YouTube video. You make videos to get views, thus attention. If you haven't noticed yet, I'm an online entertainer, so yes, that's my job to grab people's attention. Can't believe I have to point this out.
Yeah, but there's a difference between doing stuff to get attention and doing stuff that happens to get attention. For example, it could be said that your comics, aside from the message, are purely made just to grab attention and piss people off. Meanwhile, his video is meant to critique you. Sure, like all videos, it needs to get attention, but that doesn't mean he's an attention whore like you.
That's just not excusable. How he could have possibly thought this would get him any positive feedback by animating this move is just beyond me. It isn't overly graphic or anything, but just doing this with a minor is pretty embarrassing.
Here I thought the Zoomer generation was overly wimpy and sensitive. Get a grip, kid.
Calm interaction with her was apparently a non-aggressive act, and that he would wait until she's 18 in a few months to quote-unquote fully go in on her.
You're taking the chat log and giving your own meaning to it, when I clearly said I can go all out on her by waiting till she's 18 if I wanted to. A better word to use would be could instead of can, but for some reason people love to ignore, but I'm not a native English speaker.
Ah, yes, it was just a mistake from poor old Antoons' part. We should totally trust him even though he's been lying his ass off consistently lately. Also, you drew a minor exposing themselves. I don't think the previous generations were 100% fine with that, but if you could prove that or anything, or you're just doing a dumb fucking bit, who gives a shit?
17, and that instead she's an adult that's possibly grooming her underage fan base? His proof, well, she has a Ko-Fi.
The Ko-Fi post was always a joke, and you fell for it.
Oh yeah, the classic joke of lying and everyone saying, yep, that's totally true. We shouldn't care. We should care more about your intentions and not the actions of you spreading misinformation about someone for your own gain.
It's that she is kind of naive and very trusting of people, and he kind of took advantage of that, which is pretty shitty. But even still, I got an interview with Puppy Chan, and at the end I asked if she had anything she wanted to say to Anton, and Ali said, I want him to be a better person.
The typical victim words, I'm naive and I trust everyone, hoping me to become a better person, while refusing to help end the death threats towards me by posting my agreement art. She admitted herself she was afraid of backlash from her fans if she did post it. She is not innocent here by any means, and she could use her own words to improve.
Hey, Antoons, have you ever considered the fact that this is a mentally unstable person and maybe they don't want all of that negative attention just so you can look better? Truly, have you ever stopped thinking about your fucking self for 5 goddamn minutes? And here you are again, framing this you admitted that this person was obviously autistic, and here you are framing them as being corrupt. One minute you're trying to out her and trying to push her from the bus, and the next minute you're like, oh, I'll save you from the bus. What the fuck is with you?
The video itself starts out trying to make Daft look like the villain.
We know by now you are one of Daft's simps, so you will protect him with your life.
Can you actually prove he's unfairly biased against you? No, you can't. And even if you did, you still have to prove his arguments wrong, because that's how this shit works. You can't just say, oh, well, they're a simp, so they're probably wrong. No, you actually have to prove them wrong.
Specifically to comics making fun of Christians, gamers, and neckbeards as a way to show he pokes fun at everyone. Not really a good defense for his comics, where he portrays the LGBT community as accepting pedos and—
I already told you about this comic in the Discord chat, but you will of course avoid mentioning it for this video. The comic is based on the so-called slippery slope theory. The more progressive society becomes, the more rights other minorities will want. This does not mean gays or trans are same as pedos. Pedos do make a large portion of the LGBTQ+ community, but this doesn't mean they belong there.
Yeah, guys, I'm not against gay people. I just think they're a slippery slope to pedophiles having their way with underage minors. That totally makes you look better, dude.
To explain, it's essentially when you have a character that shares aspects with a certain minority, and expressing hints that that character is of that denomination. Mr. Freaks has parents that watch after him, give him help, and allow him to become successful. Mr. Sneaks has parents that leave him alone and allow him to look at porn, smoke, and eventually become an amalgamation of various ideologies that Anton doesn't like.
Looks like you failed to understand this comic like the slippery slope one. You tried to sound smart, but how come you ignore the Blue Lives Matter flag? That is the direct opposition of the BLM movement. How is that something I don't like?
Mr. Sneaks also doesn't have a father figure, a major racial stereotype, so I'm glad Anton was able to shove in as much racism as he could.
Racial coding can be applied to anything, and it still doesn't make it true. So by your logic, any black-colored character is racially coded to be a depiction of African race. So if Mr. Freaks is white race, Mr. Sneaks is black race, then what does Mr. Beats make? He's fully gray, as you can see. And then I guess Miss Heels is Asian because she's yellow, right? This doesn't make any sense.
He didn't just base it on colors, though. He based it on the examples in the comics. They're based on racist stereotypes.
Also claims Daft never shows the black character in his video, but he clearly does.
Daftpina never talked about Mr. Leaps and never compared him to Mr. Sneaks. He showed the comic without acknowledging the real Black Antoons character. I doubt he would call his video Racist Tracer if he talked about Mr. Leaps in my comics.
You see, I portrayed one black person in a positive light, so just ignore all the other racist shit I did. Just ignore all of it. Just ignore all of it. Ignore all the bigoted shit I did. You know, this totally isn't me using tokenism to benefit myself. Look, this black character I made by myself agrees with me.
Oh, and here's a tweet explicitly saying Mr. Sneaks is black. Oops, Anton.
You fell for another joke. Congrats. Yes, Mr. Sneaks is black. Black colored.
Antoons, you also point out they had a black girlfriend as well. And in the picture, we can kinda see that. This very clearly shows you meant that Mr. Sneaks was black, as in the skin color and the race.
Tried to pull the I have a minority friend card as he says slurs on Twitter.
So when my minority friends explicitly say I'm allowed to use slurs, I still have to listen to what you have to say? I think I'll say what I want, knowing I'm not offending anyone.
Been shown that he often calls people slurs behind their backs as well. He claims that he's allowed to say these slurs because his friends say it's okay, but after speaking with the people he called slurs, such as Sweet Beans and Squirrely Jack, they think that is not the case.
Sweet Beans and Squirrely Jack are not my friends. Squirrely Jack never told me not to use the slur when I talked to her, so I don't think your argument works here.
So wait a second. It's okay to call people slurs because your friends of, your minority friends said it was okay, but yet, it's also okay to call people slurs even though you don't have the permission of the people in question. So you're arguing that you have permission to call people these slurs because they are your friends, your minority friends, but not these other people. Antoons, can you at least make your stupid shit consistent?
And if Anton doesn't want to have that perception, he should try and have his views reflected on his Twitter rather than those of others.
Anyone with a brain knows my comics do not make me racist. Thanks to Daftina, his fanbase started to spread the racist tracer label everywhere on social media.
You can't judge me on my racist actions. Obviously, my intent is not racist because I said so, and I cannot be lying because bananas. Like, seriously, Antoons, can you fucking hear yourself? Can you hear how contradicting you are in this whole video? You want to claim that other people are lying and want to claim that their intentions are purely so, yet you also want everyone to just take your word on your intentions.
Anton likes to bully or argue with minors.
Yeah, it's fun bullying the broken logic of people who think they're smart.
Think it's fair to bully minors? Minors! Children! That's like rolling up to a fucking middle school or high school and going like, you stupid fucks, you don't know calculus yet. This is the same Antoons that tries to say that being in 15 means your credibility is less severe. However, he also thinks it's fair for him to bully children.
Within them, you can see how Anton was only really making peace because she has a massive following. He also certainly holds some ill will towards her, since in his likes for his new Twitter, one of them was for a response saying Puppy-chan should be hit by a bus.
First of all, you're ignoring the rest of the tweet. It clearly says, "Stay strong, queen," when I was in my trans phase. And secondly, you stated yourself in your first video on me that I like dark humor.
It's making really dark jokes that are sometimes hard to tell if they're serious or not.
Which means I will support such comments. And again, you're ignoring all the art on my Twitter timeline that I liked and retweeted. It shows my character being murdered. Most of it is done by my friends. If you can't find humor in that tweet, then I'm sorry for your future.
Antoons, there's a big difference with art that's purely meant to be comedic, that's obviously drawn to be comedic, and text that could be taken in any way.
He's going to respond, maybe he'd say that the claims are untrue, that he doesn't agree with it, or calls them a map out of nowhere. You might is that she supports the LGBT community. Wait, Anton, I thought you said your friends were diverse people in the community.
Nice try avoiding the rest of the initials. It's not just LGBT, it's LGBTQ+. There's a difference, and don't pretend you didn't notice the extra letters. My point still stands. The extended plus community includes maps.
No, they don't, and if you're going to base this on 2 tweets, you're an idiot.
His response? I'm tired of doing that. These people need to be taught the hard way.
Of course, it's more fun using my detractors' logic against them.
So what you're saying is you did the same stupid thing they supposedly did to get back at them for spite. And we're supposed to believe you're not a liar or a hypocrite on the basis of what now?
Hey, Anton, look! The rest of your detractors are taking damage too. Looks like they all share the same talking points, so if you take one of them down, the rest should go down too.
Oh, you're right. Deviant Crow and Daniel T. Gaming have already fainted.
Oh man, I love how he doesn't reference a single one of my points or talks about them, and Ari goes like, yeah, she's wrong. She's wrong, alright. Even though I didn't prove in any way that she's wrong. Yep, I got her. I think you might be lacking on that credibility thing you were talking about earlier.
Just as said in Dav's video, it doesn't matter how you present yourself privately, as what people see to base their opinion on you is the person you present yourself as publicly.
I would say it's lack of education that creates this theory Daft has indoctrinated you with. Anti-SJW art is bad because it hurts other people's feelings, yada yada yada.
Oh man, how dare we judge Antoons based on his actions? That SJW bullshit, am I right? right?
To him what it meant, and that's why Daft said he wanted Anton to look at the comments and such, because a lot of people understood where he was coming from and felt sympathy towards him.
People ate Daft's own narrative. He made the whole notion that political comics make me a radical extremist. Thus I became a villain because of Stone Toss and Mr. Pumpkinface grooming me. This is a fantasy without a solid foundation. I always liked edgy and risky content that can be traced to my elementary and middle school days, where I made offensive comics about my classmates.
Guys, it's just edgy humor just for jokes. Just ignore the fact that that I admitted this comic is based on the slippery slope stuff.
But instead, he continued making tweets about Daft and Meat Canyon, trying to make them look worse without addressing his own issues.
It's funny how butthurt you are because I exposed your idols for being hypocrites.
Pointing out their hypocrisy does not negate the fact that you fucked up and you still need to work on yourself, but okay.
Keep mentioning the fact that I'm a minor, as during our talks, Anton sent me porn to prove a point of his.
And here's our favorite part. You consider a bunch of pencil drawings porn? Okay, let's go with that for now.
Keeping in mind I never asked to see it.
You never asked to see it? Are you sure about that? When you went through my entire Twitter history for 2 of your videos, you must have seen all of the not suitable for work art on my timeline, yet you pretend like you saw it for the first time in the Discord chat. How could you possibly have ignored all the so-called porn on my Twitter timeline if you did the research for 2 of your videos? Surely you must have asked yourself, is this normal for a minor to do a video on an adult like me who has such adult content on his timeline? So you were asking for it from the start, don't lie.
Yes, if someone else has seen other nudes, then it's perfectly fine to send them unsolicited nudes. Great logic, Antoons! You dumb motherfucker! Saying they were asking for it, even though they never did with their own fucking words on text, is dumb.
And unsurprisingly, none of my tweets with this not suitable for work content were ever reported. I also didn't put warnings on most of them, so just stop, you're only proving how desperate you were to report me.
Antoons, you dumb fuck. There's a difference between having it on your page and personally sending it to someone else. That is your page. You are allowed to post not safe for work stuff on your page, but the thing you're not allowed to do is send porn to minors.
I wonder why people think he might be a map, as what he did was highly illegal.
It might be legal in your American state, but it's not in my country. Age of consent is 14 here. Yeah, it's a bit too young for such activity, but I don't make the law. Discord does not apply to just America.
It's a website based in America, so yeah, it does. Even if the thing you did wasn't illegal, it was still fucked.
I talked to Squirrely and they said that they were never friends of his, but instead a target, and he said they had a love-hate relationship because Squirrely drew him fan art. It was porn.
Spending hours, maybe days, to make art of my characters. How is that not something a fan would do?
That was clearly mocking him. Here is a safe for work image that shows that he is clearly being mocked here.
Did you get so offended by the naked torso you had to censor it too? This is seriously funny. Then does every doodle of dicks and vaginas you see scribbled on the classroom desks count as porn too? I'm wondering if you're actually homeschooled, because you seem to be lacking a lot of real-world experiences of the typical teenager.
By definition, it does. And sure, you could argue intent, but yet again, you can't prove intent.
But bruh, I'm insecure as shit.
I also found out something really creepy about you while making this video. Watching how you defend animal rapists in your video makes me only think that you seriously need professional help.
Hey, can you actually prove that he did this instead of just throwing the fucking thumbnail of the video? No? Okay.
Failing at raising you, there is a solution. While I will never let you near my cat, I'll be more than happy to do the parenting for them.
Just stop, just stop, just stop, just stop, just stop.
Jesus Christ, are you trying to look like a creepy bastard? You're trying to say that someone's a pedophile for drawing art of kids that's not in any way sexualized, and yet you do this shit?
Let's see if my deleted comment is still there. So it's still up, but she pinned it again? Interesting. You know, now I feel like it's that time again for...
The Credibility Showdown! Next time on Antoons Drama, we explore a new wave of detractors. A few of the chapters include Who Framed Antoons, Prison Mate Luke on the Loose, and Puppy Chan Caught. Stay tuned.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I hope he gets banned off fucking YouTube soon, because I cannot keep covering this piece of shit. At this point, he can't get away with all the lying, all the backstabbing, all the horrible shit he's been doing. It is best to just report him, so everyone go support him. Channel link down below. You know, report the video as well. See you next time. This was the bitch. Sorry for not so much fancy editing. I wanted to get this out done fast because reasons. I've been Deviant Crow, and I'm exhausted now. See y'all next time. Thank you for watching the video, and if you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, check out these links. If you want to tip me, you could go check out my Ko-Fi. If you want to vote for the next video, go to my Twitter. If you want to get some merch with my face on it, go to my merch store. And if you want to get to watch videos early while supporting the channel, go check out my Patreon. Also, the artist that made the OCs in this video is not me. It is Benny Bunny. So go check him out on Twitter. Also, feel free to come down to my Discord with the link down below. New videos are uploaded every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And don't forget to love yourself.